Welcome guys. In this video we are going to look at a question from math paper 2 for the year 2017. Now this question is under the topic of vectors. So we can define vector as a quantity with both magnitude and direction. The magnitude can be defined as like the distance. So under our vectors we need to have a distance plus the direction must be specified. Now let's look through the question. So in the diagram below, OP is equal to 2P, OQ is equal to 4Q, and PX to XQ is equal to 1 to 2. So we have been given vectors and also some ratios. Now let's have a look at the first question. So expressed in terms of P and slash OQ, the first one, we want to find the vector PQ. So if we look at these two letters, the first letter P, this first letter P tells us the origin, where the journey is starting from. Then Q tells us the final, where our journey is ending. So we want to move from P through X up to Q. Now to find this vector, we can see that we can't go direct since we don't have values. So we need to find the routes that can take us from P up to Q, but with numbers. So let's check from P to C, C to Q. Values are not given. Okay, let's check from P to O, O to Q. So we can see that we have numbers. So we are going to use these numbers. So in order to move from P up to Q, we can use PO plus OQ. Now let's look at this. So the vector OP is equal to positive 2P. Now what of PO? So PO is like moving against the direction. So whenever you are moving against the direction, you are supposed to introduce the negative sign. So this will give us negative 2P. So it's very important to do that. So we'll say is equal to negative 2P. Now, what if we move from O up to Q? So this one is just in the direction. So we are supposed to get the number the way it is. So we just say positive 4Q. So we'll say 4Q. Then I'm going to begin with positive 4Q minus 2P. This is our final answer, which simply means that the vector from P to Q is 4Q minus 2P. So that is our vector. So let me put this slide here. So this is our new vectors. Right, so now let's move on to question B. So under question B, we are told to find PX. So we want to move from P up to X. Now we don't have the P up to X, but we have this whole vector PQ. So what do you do now? Which means that we need this part from the whole vector PQ. So now let's check for the ratios. So the ratios, PX, the first part goes with the first number. XQ, since it's the second part, goes with the second number. So that's why you are supposed to deal with numbers when they are given in such a format. So which means that from P up to X we have the number 1. Then from X up to Q we will have 2. Now from these two numbers, which number represents the vector that we want? So it's 1. So you write 1, then you divide by the total is 3. You add the numbers 1 plus 2 will give us 3 of the vector PQ. So this mathematically simply means that to find PX, we just need 1/3 of PQ. So we'll say 1/3, we open brackets, while there is PQ, we put the actual vectors for this one. Then I'm going to multiply 1/3 multiplied by 4Q will give us 4/3 vector Q minus 1/3 times negative 2 will give us 2 over 3 of vector p. So this is our final answer. Now we move on to C. So under C, we want the vector OX. So we are starting from O as our origin, then X as our final. We want this vector here. So what is this vector here? We can use the vector O to P, since we are given the value here. Then after we use this value, we can also get from P up to X. Okay. So say plus vector Px. Remember, the vector Px is found. Then OP is 2P plus C. Px is 4 over 3 of vector Q minus 2 over 3 of vector P. Then what I'm going to do is I need to collect the right terms. So where there is P, we are going to put them together. So 2P minus 2 over 3 of vector P plus 4 over 3 of vector Q over 1. So the lowest common denominator is just 1. So what you do is you cross multiply to simplify this work. So we cross multiply. So I'm going to finish my answer here. So if we cross multiply, 3 times 2 will give us 6p over the same number. So say 1 times 3 we multiply will give us 3 minus, if we multiply 1 times negative 2, we have negative 2p over 3, then plus 4 over 3 of vector Q. So we know that we can subtract 2p from 6p, giving us 4p over 3 plus 4 over 3 of vector Q. We are done. Let's move on to question Roman number 2. So for this one, we have 2 questions. The first one, we need to find this expression here. So given that OC, the vector OC is the same as you multiply H with the vector OX. So the question is, do we have the vector OX? So the vector OX is this vector, this number that we have found here. So this is what we are going now to substitute where there is this part. So we'll say OC is equal to H, you open brackets. So we have 4 divided by 3 P, 4 divided by 3 Q. So H times this one will give us, so we'll say 4 HP over 3 plus H times 4Q over 3, we'll say 4 HQ over 3. So this first part is done. Now the last part is where you need to be careful. For some people, this is the trickiest part. But how do you do this? So for now, let's ignore this vector here. Let's just say we are trying to find vector CQ. So let's find the vector CQ. So how can we move from C up to Q? So if this is our consideration now, for now, C becomes our now origin, because that's where we are starting from. Then Q, our final position. So we want to find the vector C up to Q. Now, do we have PC? No, we don't have. What of OC? So the vector OC is given, but for us, we'll consider this one as CO. So we are moving in this direction. So to find CQ, I'm going to say CO plus this vector OQ. Right? Then look at this. So this vector is the vector OC. Now what of CO? So I'm going to multiply everything in these brackets by negative. So I'm just going to change the signs. So say negative 4 over 3 HP minus 4 over 3 HQ plus what is the vector OQ? So the vector OQ is 4Q. So then upon reaching here, I'm going to compare now the arrangement of this vector that we are trying to show. So we can see that this party is on the far end. So, and we can see that we have it. This is our part here. So want it to be on the far end. So I'm going to write whatever that remains. So I'm going to say 4Q minus 4 over 3 HQ minus 4 over 3 HP. Then upon reaching here, I'm going to factorize. So what is common here? 4 is common here. So 4 is common. Even here, 4 is common. So we take out 4. What else is common here? Q is common. So we put Q here according to the arrangement. Look at what they did. So Q is here, 4 is here. Then after we remove 4 and Q, we can just say we have removed everything. We have a 1 minus 4 is gone. So we write 1 over 3. Q is gone. Then we have H minus 4 over 3 HP. So as we can see, this is exactly as this. Therefore, we can say hence shown. So if you find this video interesting, please consider subscribing if you have not done so, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the videos in future. For those that may be interested in online tuitions, please comment in the comment section below. I'll be able to attend to you. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.